to my channel. My name is Mouse, sometimes Andy, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I am going to be telling you all about the Anna Godebersen books and my childhood reread series. So this is an ongoing series. If you haven't seen some of the other videos, you can definitely see them below. As always, below on my channel. As always, if you hear any weird walking around or you see some gray ears pop up near my lap, that would be my dog. I don't have any control over her. She lives her best life, and her birthday was yesterday, so she is, you know, just having a blast with that. Hello. Did you want to make an appearance? Or Hi. We're dressed for Halloween. It's September, but we're dressed for Halloween. Thank you. Can I make my video now? I read the Anna Godebersen books back when I was in high school, so around 2010-2012 era. These books there's two separate series. So there is the Lux series, which is set in about late 1800s, 1889-ish Manhattan, and then we have the Beautiful Days series. It's a duology, and that is set in, I think it's still Manhattan or New Orleans, unsure. I could be mixing up that with the Diviners series in the 1920s era. So Flappers, Great Gatsby, think like that. So I started this reread with the Beautiful Days books, the Bright Young Things Beautiful Days books, and I did not enjoy them that much. My issue with those books, and maybe this is why there was only 3, my issue with those books is that the characters were idiots. They were idiots, and admittedly, they're young characters, right? It's a young adult book, and they're supposed to be young, but I don't think they're supposed to be that stupid. And everything they did felt dumb, and the relationships they had with one another felt past petty down into idiocy. There is a level of petty that I think shows a level of intelligence, and this was not one of them. I did not like the characters, I did not like the romances, and I didn't really understand why any of it mattered. This was during the Prohibition era, and there we have 2 girls that we primarily follow, Letty and Cordelia. Letty comes in looking to no longer be religiously shamed by her family and become a famous singer, and Cordelia abandons a marriage that she was essentially forced into at a young age to travel here and learn about her father, who is an alcohol provider during Prohibition. So that's the vibe. Cordelia is mean, and I liked her a lot better than Letty because she's just smarter. She just makes smarter choices, and she wants to be independent, and she wants to, you know, open her own club and run her own shit and do all of that. Letty falls for all kinds of things and is just very naive and gullible in a way that's frustrating and uninteresting to me. I found her to be like a caricature of people brought up in a rural community and then sent to a city, and I didn't really think that it was done well because, like I said, it was a caricature of that actual experience, where I think that Letty would actually have some common sense, you know? I don't think that she would accidentally end up on a stage as a stripper thinking that she was going to be a singer. I don't know. I don't think that that would happen. I truly don't believe that someone would be that gullible. Especially in that time, that day and age. Because people that young during that day of age were more like adults and were more likely to be in marriages and have children and that kind of thing at such a young age, you know, 16, 17. So I refuse to believe that she would be that gullible if people that age are already ready to be married and have children. And it was very hard for me to get past that because I found it very frustrating to read. There is a 3rd book called The Lucky Ones. I never read it. I couldn't find it actually to read it, and I was primarily looking for it on Scribd and my library because I wasn't really trying to buy these books. I never buy any of the books that I read for my childhood rereads. I always get them from the library or Scribd. So I don't know what happens in the 3rd book. I don't think I care. actually. Cordelia's dad does pass away, and Cordelia gets the opportunity to kind of take over. I found the things with her and then her half-brother's wife, whose name I can't remember right now, or soon-to-be wife. I found their parts of the story so much more interesting than Letty's, and you can kind of tell that Anna realized that the audience felt the same way, because in the second book it focuses more on those two than it does Letty. Now, we still follow Letty and we still learn about her and the things that she goes through, but she takes a little bit more of a backseat, whereas in the first book Cordelia took a little bit more of a backseat. So, you know, I just didn't like the way that they were handled, the mature situations they were put in, and the lack of intelligence that they were expected to have, I felt was just not consistent with the time and not consistent with the other characters. And I think that it was written to make the plot easier to make sense, and that just feels lazy to me. And the reason that is even more disappointing now is because, having read this one first and then going to read Lux, and the Lux series came out before the Beautiful Days series. The Lux series is so amazingly written. The Lux series feels like reading Gossip Girl for the 1800s, and that's very fun for me. I adored Gossip Girl. I actually think I might reread those books as well as Pretty Little Liars for some of my childhood rereads, but I adored Gossip Girl, and so seeing it in this like gossipy, tabloid-esque way for the 1800s was really fun. Now, I have aphantasia, and we've talked about it a ton of times on my channel. If you don't know what that is, I've probably talked about it in another video, but you can definitely Google it. Maybe editing me will include what that means down below, but all the excessive description of the dresses and stuff, I don't know, but it seemed like if you could visualize those things would be very cool. I mostly just like pulled up 1800s dresses and was like looking at them and comparing them to the descriptions that I was receiving from the book. The love interests were fantastic and dramatic and over the top. It's all very over the top, and it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be this Gossip Girl-esque, but in the 1800s, with kind of a mindset of like women's appropriate behavior and fashion. Like, these mindsets all kind of wound in one, like you're reading the tabloids at the time, and I thought that was really fantastically done. There is, you know, fake deaths and fake kidnappings, and one girl just like straight up ruining her life to end up with a prince who abandons her. It's the audacity of some of these characters is mind-blowing to me. So this series came out before Beautiful Days, and then I don't know what happened in Beautiful Days because those characters sucked. Those characters were awful. The characters in Lux have, you know, multiple motivations, and they are mature for their age, and they understand kind of the world around them, and because of the way that gossip worked during this era, I think that they had to be very aware of the actions that they were taking and the consequences of those actions. The men suck, but like, when don't they? Also, some of the characters, in my opinion, in both books, would have been better if they were just queer characters, but unfortunately, that didn't really happen in 2011, 2012. I think that Sage has a really good conversation about queer time and why so many queer adults read adult fiction, or young adult fiction. I'm going to try and link it down below, but for a lot of us, it is that we didn't have queer fiction growing up. And so a lot of the time I read these young adult books that I read as a kid, and I'm just like, wow, this book would be so much better with queer representation. And it would have made the plot so much better. And I'm not just saying like, just throw a queer character in there for that representation. No, I mean like, it would have made the story so much better. And this is no exception. Lux would have been much more interesting if there was some kind of like closeted female, femme queer situation going on. Even the way that Cassandra Clare has Anna Lightwood in her 1800s series, both in the Last Hours set, and then also she's in like some of the side stories, and I think is mentioned in the Clockwork. No, the Clockwork ones are before she's born, but even Anna Lightwood is like a non-binary representation for the 1800s, and not to say Cassandra Clare is like the queen of rep, we know she's not. I really would have just liked that in the Lux series, but I can see why young me really enjoyed these books, because I wasn't sure. I don't like romance, and I don't like historical fiction. I can't stand historical fiction. I don't find it that entertaining, like 99% of the time. And so, you know, when I was picking these books up now as an adult, I was like, what about this was appealing to me as a teen? Because this doesn't fall into any of the categories that I liked to read. It was the drama and the gossip and the, oh no, what if they find out? And I find those things just so interesting. And you know, Anna Godebersen did an amazing job of it in the Lux series, and I highly recommend it. Sure, it has its problems, but it's also a book based in the 1800s, so inherently it's going to have some problems. But, you know, there weren't any, like, massive red flags. There wasn't any languaging red flags. I think that this set really stood the test of time. However, the last book, Splendor, is the worst book in the entire series, and I almost think you could have just read the first 3 books and called it a day and not read any more. And this happens a lot with my childhood rereads, where I will read the first 3, they're amazing, they're great, and then for some reason there's a 4th book, and the 4th book just kind of ruins everything. This is no exception to that rule. Splendor sucked. Nobody got what they deserved, except maybe one character. Even the bad guy got exactly what she wanted in the end, the bad guy. There is this character named Penelope, and her best friend is one of the main characters in the first book. And her best friend is Elizabeth Holland, and Elizabeth Holland's little sister is Diana. So Elizabeth Holland is betrothed to Henry, I believe that's his name, let me double check, to Henry Schoonmaker. Men's names just all sound the same to me after a while. Her best friend is engaged to Henry Schoonmaker, and she had a fling with Henry a long time ago and really thought that he was her love of her life. So Elizabeth fakes her death to get out of marrying Henry, and so Penelope's like, now's my chance, let's go, but Henry actually is into Diana, Elizabeth's little sister. In the end, Penelope winds up managing to marry Henry. She is the one who cheats on him with a prince in such a scandalous way that everyone around her is like, oh girl, stop. And it turns out that the prince does this to people all the time. He's betrothed to someone else. She prepares to leave Henry and leave the family and leave the country, goes to his hotel to see him, and he's left already. He left on a boat to go to his betrothed wife and go see her, and then Penelope just ends up with Henry. They just end up together. So Henry's miserable because Diana has decided, like, I don't think we should be together because I need my own independence and I'm going to be my own independent woman, and there's some things that I want to do in France, and so she sails away. Love that for her. Support Diana in that. Diana is hands down one of my favorite characters. Elizabeth ends up with someone else. Her story was like really sad and dramatic, but also really wasn't that important to me. Diana was who I was really rooting for. And then Henry and Penelope just stay together. What the fuck? Penelope should not have had that ending. If anyone should have had a miserable ending, it should have been Penelope, not anyone else. Just only Penelope, because she sucks. She just sucked the whole book. There was another character that was introduced in the second book that honestly, like, my brain was just like, Henry and Diana, this is the part I'm focusing on. All in all, though, it's super dramatic, and like I said, if you like Gossip Girl, and you liked not Great Gatsby, that's the other books, and you like, I don't know, what is that series, that TV series that everyone's, like, really into, that's aristocratic and, like, romance? Bridgerton? I haven't seen it, but I'm going to go ahead and say if you like Gossip Girl and you like Bridgerton, Bridgerton might also already be really similar to the Lux series. This is definitely going to be a series for you. I actually really enjoyed them, would read them again, and considered buying them because the covers are cool. So that's the Lux series by Anna Godebersen. Do not recommend Bright Young Things by Anna Godebersen, though. That book sucked. Those books sucked. Don't recommend them. Didn't read the third one. Not worth the time. Characters are boring. But I don't know if Anna Godebersen has written anything else. I'm kind of interested to look and see, but that's what I got for ya. For my next childhood reread series, I will be reading the Uglies series by Scott Westerfeld. I did read another first book in a set of books by Scott Westerfeld not too long ago that's set in the same universe. I did not enjoy that book, so I'm interested to see what happens if I go back into the Uglies universe. I remember begging my librarian to get the new book when that book came out. When the series came out, like, I think we had the first 2, and then I just, like, waited on pins and needles for the next ones to come into my library. And that was early high school, so I was 14 or 15 when I read those books, so I will be really interested to see how those stand against the test of time. Scott still posts on Twitter and stuff, and is still really active in the author scene, especially online, and so, you know, we'll see how that goes. I think that's it though. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read this series or if you're now interested in the series. The second one, I don't really care about bright young things, if I'm going to be honest. Let me know how you feel about all of that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, let me know how I can do it better. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And I will see you guys next time on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time and then Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. Drink your water, take your meds, whatever you need to do today to take care of yourself, alright? See you guys later. Okay, thanks, bye.